This is a short tutorial on the best instrumental VSTs to use in Ableton to make live looping covers. If you do not know how to install VST plugins in Ableton, make sure to check out the video in the link above. In that video I explain how you can install a plugin in Ableton. The download links of the VSTs can be found in the description of the video. If you love anything MIDI related, such as covers and tutorials, check out my other videos and be sure to subscribe. One of the plugins I use the most is the MT Powerdrumkit 2. And although Ableton has a lot of nice electronic sounding drums, I really like to use an acoustic drum in, for example, more acoustic live looping covers. So I've activated the Powerdrumkit here. And as you can see, it's just a acoustic drum kit. But the sounds are really realistic. Let's hear, for example, the bass. And also the hi-hats. So you can, I mostly use it by using the pads on the Arturia Minilab to use the drum kits, and I've mapped them so that I can easily access the bass drum, the snare, and two different kind of hi-hats, and I also added here some toms and a crash. And in this way it is really easy to make a realistic sounding drum loop. For example, I just really like how the drum kit sounds. So another nice feature of the drum kit is the various grooves you have. So you can go to grooves, and then there are, I think, more than 200 various kind of grooves you can just play and also use them for inspiration. So for example, let's say I want a 4/4 groove with a half open hi-hat. You can also drag them here to make a whole drum sample. For example, let's say I want the first one just a normal thing, then I want a fill, then I want the second one, and I want another fill. And then you play it. Yeah, so this plugin is a really nice way to have some acoustic drum sounds to your mixes or your live looping set. And what I have added to the drum kit is just the basic studio drum rack in Ableton, because it really adds a nice glue and also drive amount in order to make it even sound more realistic. Okay, so another plugin that I really like to use is the AGMT bass. It's just an electric bass, but it sounds really realistic, like a real electronic bass. Okay, so as you can see, it is the Lite version, but it's a free version and it's just totally free. There are a lot of options, but even if you just use it for a regular bass line, it sounds really nice, if I say it myself. So for example, let's say I want to play a standard bass line. So it has a really clean sound, and it's really good when you're making a cover of a more pop song or more a rock song, in order to have a kind of neutral bass line. Because the bass presets in Ableton are really nice, but they are sometimes a little bit too heavy for just making a cover of a more poppy kind of song. Okay, so another nice feature of the AGMT bass is that you can let it play tabs. So you can import tabs from other musical software. So you go to the tab page, and there are also a lot of custom tabs that are that come with the Angel Bass. So just click on Load tab, just click on Bass, and you can see there are a lot of custom tabs. So for example, if I wanted something funky, I just open it. And you see here is the bass. And now if I press play on Ableton, and you press play here, it starts playing. So this is a quite simple tab, but you can imagine if you are a bass player and you want to experiment with some tabs, but you don't have a bass lying around, you can just use this tab player to play the tabs you like. But I mainly use it for the just the more rocky sounds. I really like it. AGMT does not only have a free bass plugin, but also a free guitar plugin. It works the same. So we'll open it there now. And it's an acoustic guitar. It's also the Lite version, but it works similar to the bass player. That you have just the main page where you can just play notes. Yeah, so it sounds really clean, and it's just an acoustic guitar, but you can also, it's one of the most realistic guitar plugins that I have found. And you also have a strummer version, but that's more for when you're composing your song and not for doing covers. And also the tab function I also illustrated with the bass. So for example, let's say we wanted to play, I don't know what this is, but it's just... So you can play it kind of realistic guitar sound. It also sounds nice with some reverb. So I really like the Protoverb Reverb, which has a lot of nice presets. So for example, doing a cathedral reverb. It sounds really warm. Okay, so another really nice plugin is the Sonita Orchestra plugin. It is a plugin that's also free of use, and it contains all the instruments in the orchestra. So I've opened it here, and it works really simple. You can here select see the instrument list. So as you can see, you have a violin, but also like more brass types of stuff, so like a trumpet and a trombone. And then also for each instrument, you have a whole list of presets. So it's really a good tool to start if you want to add more orchestral kinds of instruments. It does not have like the most in-depth realistic sound, but it's also a free plugin, and it has a lot of options. So for example, you have the with the solo violin, you have just with the so for example, with the Sonita violin, you have the solo violin. But then if you switch to your other preset, you really hear the difference. And this also really works really nice with a MIDI effect rack. So for example, if I add a short MIDI effect rack, and let's say if I play this one, I also wanted to play just a major third and also the major second. It works really nice with it. And for example, if you add a arpeggiator, let's say I want to do a chord trigger, a straight one. Yeah, so it's a really easy way to try some orchestral sounds. Let's say I want to have a trumpet. That one's also really great. Another really nice plugin is the Labs plugin. It's also free too, and you can install a wider range of instruments on it. Here I've installed, for example, soft piano, but also some more strings. This takes up a lot of space, so if your PC is not that good, you might just want to try the Sonita Orchestra plugin, because that one is really small. But the Labs plugin sounds more realistic. So for example, if I go to the strings and I want to play the ensemble, just click on load. It sounds a little bit more realistic than the Sonita Orchestra plugin, but then it's also takes up a lot more space, and you do not have that much instruments. They also, for example, have a guitar plug, which sounds really nice. So let's say I want to load that one. So the Labs plugin is for a little bit more. This is from Spitfire Audio, and it has a little bit more experimental sounds. My favorite plugin of all time is DEXED, and DEXED is a plugin in which you can load Yamaha presets, and you can download these presets from all over the internet. And yeah, so you can actually find all kinds of sounds and play them with DEXED. So ranging from 80s bass to more brass to more strings to a lead voice. The possibilities are really endless with DEXED. You can also create your own sound, but that's a little bit more but if you open DEXED and you press on cart, then you can see all these packages, and these are all instruments. So yeah, so it can really play all kinds of sounds, and then you can also tweak those sounds yourself. So for example, we now have this sound. You can here change the algorithm. In another video I will explain how you can load your own sounds into DEXED and download it, but you should really check out this plugin. The last plugin is AlterEgo, and it is a plugin that you can use to let a computer voice sing your text. So it sounds a little bit strange, but you can download presets of voices, and you can enter the text that you want to sing the computer here. So for example, I'm gonna add a line, sing this line. And then the only thing you have to do is press the MIDI buttons, and the character sings this line in the voice you are adding. For example, sing this line, sing this line, sing this line, sing this line. So yeah, it sounds a little bit strange, but it's really nice to fool around with if you don't like to sing yourself. And there are no vocals lying around, and so this is a male's voice. This line. But you can also download female voices.